Hey everyone, welcome to the Sims Witches and Warlocks. This is again still a part of the Christmas week, but guys, we got some sad news because off camera, I took notice to it off camera before I ended playing last time, and I forgot to say about it, but not only is Sabrina expecting children, like I said in the last episode, but as soon as I can find it, Azrael, I'm calling to let you know that Noah Hussein has passed away. I thought you might want to know. So Noah was actually Ambrose and Azrael's uncle, as well as Sabrina and M's uncle. And you might as well say he was almost like an uncle dad for them, because Ambrose and Sabrina were pretty much raised as one of his children because of Michael passing away at a young age, and their mom passing away at a young age and being MIA throughout their life. And so they pretty much are having a tough time right now dealing with that. So that is why they are upset before we actually get into this episode. So you will take notice that they're pretty upset, which I think I would be upset as well. As for Newt, behind the scenes, he has to go into college right now, but he is going to go into class, but he did his presentations that he has to do for his coursework and all his homework until he gets back from school. But yeah, so he did that, and he's actually heading into school now. But Ambrose, I know you're not feeling well, but you're eating, okay. And she's using the restroom. So why don't you but one of you guys actually have to clean Lily, because Lily the dog is pretty dirty right now. But I think a lot of these guys are feeling quite down. And I think Ambrose tomorrow might call up his twin sister and talk with her and see what she planned on doing about the pregnancy, and see how things are going with that, as well as how she's doing with the loss of their uncle, who was pretty much almost like a father figure to them, which is truly news to know. But she is bathing Lily, and Newt should be back home soon. So, also, behind the scenes, guys, one of my friends actually pointed this out when he watched my video, and then he told me, he said, since Azrael and Newt are now married, Azrael's last name should have changed. So I changed that. So Azrael's last name now is Arrington. And Caspian is also Arrington, because her and Azrael and Newt had adopted Caspian fully now and are raising him as one of their own. They want to have at least one child of their own as well, but it's just right now doesn't seem like the right time. Especially that they're focused on his university life, Newt's university life, and Caspian growing up and all that. And we have 2 hours to our next class, so we have to try and see if we can do a little bit of homework. Okay, clean that up real quick, and then you can do a little bit of your homework. I mean, it's not really a rush, but also in this episode, I want to point out, I don't know if I showed you guys in the last episode, but Azrael did become a sales floor clerk to help around the house and all that with bills. And I know you guys know that Ambrose became a painter on the side, like he's a freelance painter right now. So I'm gonna see if he can actually get into like freelance painting, if that's even an option. I'm not exactly sure. I know there's a freelancer career, but I'm not sure if it gives you that option to be a freelance painter. There's also engineer now. That's new. So let's see what's new, because I don't know if I actually ever seen what's new. I know the engineer and the education is new. And law, that's the other one that's new. Okay. And then obviously you could do the little ones like manual labor and stuff like that. Okay. Freelancer career. Select a trade. So you could get into programming, artistry, financial artist, digital. Okay, photographer. Okay, so no, you can't. Can you digital painting? Digital, right? I don't know if this is like programming more so, or if that's, I don't know. So we might have to change his job to an actual painter. Either that or just say he's a freelancer and he work it this way. He can do a sad painting. I mean, at least try and get some money from being sad. I think that's what Newt would want, like, or not Newt, but Noah would want from him is to succeed in his life. He'd be very proud of Azriel for changing her life around. And he'd also be proud of Sabrina and Ambrose. Because Ambrose, even though he's not a father himself quite yet, but he is an uncle, and he's also a godfather, because he's the godfather of Caspian. So if something would ever happen to Azriel and Newt, then he has the possibility of taking Caspian in. Uh, let's check up on you. How's your schoolwork going? Okay, he has school in like another 4 hours or 4 minutes. So he's and Sabrina's over here actually a little bit early. So Newt, or Ambrose, why don't you go ahead and call her over, see how she's holding up. Um. Newt's heading into class. Um. I'm gonna have him take notes though. Maybe that'll help his outcome in class. They're trying to cheer each other up, which is really cute. Those guys are fraternal twins, if you guys don't remember, so I think they would definitely know when each other is upset. And I don't think that, I think he'd be really worried about Sabrina now, especially since Sabrina is pregnant. And all that, he would want to make sure that, that she's doing okay. Another thing is, though, he would want to check up on is, her and Makoa, because Makoa and her weren't doing the greatest, a little bit ago, because she wasn't feeling things, but now she is, feeling things back, so he just wants to make sure that everything is good. And she says, Makoa is my ball and chain. We're married. So, that's definitely a good sign. Like, that definitely means that she truly cares about Makoa. And Newt, I know you're tired, bud, but if you finish up your homework, then you should be good for a little bit. Um, and then these guys are just catching up and and she's like telling him about the pregnancy, and she said, well, they said that more likely this will probably have to be my last pregnancy because I'm not doing too well with the pregnancy. My body's not really adjusting well to it, but they said that the baby seems fine, and what truly matters is that the baby's okay. I was trying to see if there's a way that they could tell whether it's a boy or a girl. But I guess you can't really do that unless you're at a certain spot in the doctor's career. But, Caspian's back from school. Newt, I believe, might be finished with his homework. If not, he's just trying to lay down. Okay, he's too comfortable for it because he's tired and he needs a shower, so. Okay, so we're going to let him rest a little bit since he doesn't have class for a couple more days. So we're going to let him rest a little bit. I think he desperately needs it. So he's going to take a shower real quick and then he's going to get some sleep. He's also should check up on his wife because his wife lost someone too, who was an uncle to her as well. And she's taking things just as hard as Ambrose is. But she, of course, has to go into work, which I might actually have her call off because I think that's probably the best right now because I don't really want her to have to go into work or anything. So she's going to take a vacation day. I think she deserves it, especially with everything that's been going on and all that. So she's on vacation today. Let's just check the calendar and see if there's anything we actually have to do today. No, not really. We do have bonfire coming up, which I'm really excited to do in this family, because I kind of thought it'd be kind of neat. So I think that we're gonna pick this up tomorrow here in The Sims and go from there. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so it's actually the next morning. I kind of figured, since I already had him do his homework, I figured I could have him study a little bit. And I think since Azrael's more of a outdoorsy woman, like she's very like okay with being into what some would refer to as more male based things, but just because you're a female does not mean that you can't like them, or vice versa. Like, there's things that people say are more feminine that I like the color pink. But I did locate the, what's it called? The river location where you can actually go and fish, and it's actually not far from their house, so I kind of thought that it would be nice for her to take Caspian out to go fishing for the very first time, and I think that's really sweet. Like, it's something you would normally see a dad do with their son, but I think that Azrael would do it with Caspian. Because, I mean, to be honest with you, this family is not normal because they have vampired at one time. Uh, they have magical beings in their family as well. So yeah, this family is not a typical normal family. And so I kind of thought that it'd be kind of cute for things to change up a little bit. And for those guys to go ahead and go fishing. And Newt, or Ambrose, I'm sorry, since you already finished your painting, why don't you go ahead, this is what the painting looks like, it's pretty actually. Why don't you go ahead and resume the painting real quick, and then you can go ahead and make a copy of it, because I might hang it up in his room. I think that'd be quite cute for him to do. Newt is still studying for his his one class, which he has the final exam in. And then he's going to actually go ahead and study for his other one then, which is this one, the series of tubes and all that. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and see how these guys are doing with their fishing. Morgan is back, but apparently Morgan has decided to give up the life of magic. It's interesting. And I know a friend of mine, in particular, that likes my videos, that watches them. He said he's really interested in seeing Ambrose, and seeing what his sexuality really is, because nobody really is quite sure what he prefers, whether he's into guys or girls. But I was kind of thinking it'd be kind of neat to have a sim that's asexual, which means that they don't really like male or female, and they prefer to be alone. Which I think is really kind of something that I would really like to do with Ambrose. I originally, when I first thought, I was like, maybe Azrael would be a good person for that, but that ship's already kind of sailed with Newt. But I was kind of thinking Ambrose would be the perfect person for that, because Ambrose is really focused behind painting and his magic and all that. So it's really the... Oh, and Jack came around. I didn't even realize Jack came around. But Jack came by to say hello. That's nice. We haven't seen Jack in a little bit. Jack was originally a part of this series, but he has decided to move out after having a son of his own. They since then had a couple of them. Caspian's been doing good with fishing as well. He's been getting catch after catch, which is really good. And I believe he's still studying for that one. So why don't you go ahead and stop studying for that one and actually start studying for the other one now? Because that way, because I think you did a good bit of studying for that one. And now you can start to study for your other one that you have to do a final exam for. If you guys are wondering, it's day 7 of summer of 28. It's sunny and heat wave, and today's forecast is a heat wave. So things are definitely on the hotter side of things here in Sims, which is in Warlocks. Tomorrow is the bonfire, which exactly, what do you have to do for that? Barbecue, fire, and tell stories. Okay. I'm not even... Yeah, they do have a barbecue. Okay. They do have a barbecue. And Demon is now dirty as well, so someone's gonna have to take care of him. But Newt, where are you going, Brendo? Okay, he's getting really stressed out. maybe it's time for him to take a little bit of a fun break and get some fun out there, because he's getting a little bit of irate temper right now. So I was kind of thinking maybe he could play some Sims Forever to calm himself down. And I think we're gonna pick this up when the term finishes for him. I think that'll be good. We're gonna go ahead and finish out the term, and I'll show you guys how we did then in this term, and I'll pick it up from there. So I'll be back in just a bit. Okay, so he didn't finish the term yet, but I kind of forgot about bonfire. But I wanted them to do the bonfire thing because I thought it would be really cute. Um, for them to do it, because they have like this woodsy background, and I think it'd be perfect place to do it. Um, so I gotta go ahead and get a bonfire. They also got a grill, so I have Newt about ready to do grilled chicken, and then I'll have Ambrose do something else, and Azrael do something else, and that should be good for food then. Okay, let's just hope, though, that this holiday does not go down with fire. But, so, first up, Newt is going to be doing this because, I don't know, I figured Newt would do grilled chicken. Physics course book definitely needs to go back into Newt's thing, though. Caspian, what does he have to do? I don't think he can really do anything with the grill, though. I don't understand why it wants him to do that. He could tell stories and fire by lighting a bonfire or burning a leaf pile. But I think Ambrose and them would do the bonfire while they're waiting. So light the bonfire and then maybe tell a group story. A fairy tale about a troll or an adventuring story about mighty Captain Flint. For now, so they got themselves a little campfire here. They're coming out to listen to the story now. I think Azrael looks really pretty in that attire there. Caspian's even coming out to look. Or listen. Cozy campfire. Ambrose is going to tell his story. Newt's up here eating, so Azrael is not happy about being splashed from the dog. Wonder if you add a log, if that'll help with the fire thing. But he did do the chicken. So we're gonna go ahead and add that here so that that's ready to go for later then. To eat. Oh, yes, it did count, so he just has to tell a story. Maybe he would tell a story to just Ambrose, because I think Ambrose kind of likes this thing. Like, just to be quite a little interesting. And he could tell different stories. Actually, that's kind of neat. He's going to tell Ambrose the story of the adventurous giant. Then Azrael could tell a story, maybe to Caspian. Okay, she apparently did a tradition already. Oh, because she's eating. Okay, she's eating some chicken, so that's why she did the tradition. Maybe she's not really much of a cook. But she did get a good victory from hiring an adventurous story, listening to a triumphant tale. That's quite interesting. From a great story. Scott, and he's listening to Newt's story now. And one thing I do want Caspian to do is first off, maybe he could tell a story about a stowaway to Ambrose. I just think Ambrose would be all about this holiday. And the other ones are like, yeah, okay, we'll go along with it, but this really isn't our type of thing. But I think Caspian seems to like it, so maybe they'll join in at some point for Azrael's story. But Azrael loves the bonfire, loves setting the bonfire, so maybe she can go ahead and at least add a log to it. To keep it going. And then she needs to tell a story. And Ambrose needs to barbecue, so maybe instead of Ambrose barbecuing, maybe we can get Ambrose in here to grab a serving real quick, so that way he can come back out and enjoy the story then. He can't really do much with the thing. Maybe he can roast marshmallows. Okay, so Ambrose truly did everything that he has to do. Azrael's got to use the restroom real quick, and then she's going to be back out. But then she's going to tell her story. And so she's going to tell a story about... You can only tell ghost stories after 7 p.m. Interesting. An adventurous story about gold booty. To everybody. Ambrose is like, yeah, you said about a story, I'm there. But I should really check chicken. So after this story here, we're just gonna wait till Newt's other term ends, and we'll pick this up then. So they had a little bit of a bonfire, which is really cute. And what's happening? Something's happening. Oh, Lily's passing away to the big dog park in the sky. Aww. Okay, guys. I'll be back in a bit. Lily... Guys, Lily has been here for Azrael for years. And Azrael had her as a familiar. And now, unfortunately, she's got to say goodbye. And even the guys are upset. Caspian's upset. This has not been a good time, really, for these guys. Even the dogs look like they're upset. Demon and that look like they're upset. Captain Whittaker's upset. I honestly think that Azrael would bury her in a place that she feels truly loved and cared about, and that's exactly the same place where they got married. So she would want her buried here, guys. And that was not part of the plan, honestly. I did not have that planned in this episode, honestly. But I'll be back once Newt's term's over.